You think the universe cares about you? It doesn't. It never did. This line sounds cruel, but it holds an unsettling truth. The cosmos doesn't care. It doesn't see, doesn't feel, doesn't notice, and yet it's there, vast, infinite, unreachable. When we look up at the night sky, we see just a handful of stars. But what lies beyond? What lurks in that unfathomable darkness? Are we really as small as we seem, or does the mere act of asking make us something more? The immensity of space is breathtaking, but it's also terrifying. Every star we see might already be dead. Every distant planet could be a world abandoned. Every galaxy might conceal secrets we'll never understand. Thinking about it sends a chill down the spine, because, in the end, maybe we truly are insignificant against the vastness of the universe. But what if that insignificance is the key to something greater? There is something deeply unsettling about the sheer size of the universe. It is not just big, it is beyond comprehension, stretching so far and so wide that even the fastest thing known to humanity, light itself, would take billions of years to traverse it. But let's break it down into scales we can attempt to grasp. If you could somehow travel at the speed of light, 299,192 kilometers per second, you could circle the entire Earth 7 times in just 1 second. That's incomprehensibly fast. And yet, even at this unbelievable speed, it would still take over 4 years just to reach the closest star beyond our sun, Proxima Centauri. And that's just our cosmic backyard. Within our own galaxy, distances become even more ridiculous. The Milky Way spans over 100,000 light-years across. Even if you traveled at the speed of light, you would not live long enough to cross your own galaxy. No human civilization as we know it would last long enough to see a spacecraft make it from edge to edge. Now consider this. The observable universe, the part we can actually see, spans 93 billion light-years, and it is still expanding. Galaxies are being stretched apart, moving away from us due to the mysterious force we call dark energy, a phenomenon that accelerates the spread of the cosmos itself. And what is perhaps even more unsettling is that the observable universe is just a fraction of what actually exists. Beyond what we can see, the universe likely continues infinitely in all directions, stretching into the unknown. But how do we even know all of this? The James Webb Space Telescope has given us some of the deepest glimpses into the cosmos ever recorded. It has allowed us to look back in time, literally, to the formation of the first galaxies nearly 13.5 billion years ago, when the universe was still in its chaotic infancy. This was a time when the first stars were born in clouds of primordial gas, igniting in a universe that had previously been pitch black. And yet, despite this breathtaking progress in exploration, the more we uncover, the more terrifying questions arise, because in all of these images, in all of this infinity, something is missing. There are enormous cold, empty voids in space, vast cosmic deserts where galaxies should be, but aren't. These regions stretch across millions of light years, untouched, uninhabited, unfathomably silent. Some astronomers believe they may hold the key to understanding dark matter, the invisible force that accounts for 85% of the universe's mass. Dark matter itself is strange and elusive. It neither emits light nor interacts with regular matter in any detectable way. The only reason we know it exists is because without it, the universe wouldn't hold itself together. And then there's dark energy, an even greater mystery. It is the force behind the accelerating expansion of the universe. It is making space itself stretch, driving galaxies away from each other faster than we can comprehend. Eventually, some theorize, this expansion could reach a point where even atoms themselves are torn apart, something known as the Big Rip. Here's the unsettling part. We don't know what dark matter really is. We don't know what dark energy really is. We don't even know what most of the universe is made of. We are living inside a universe that is, for the most part, invisible and unknowable to us. And maybe the most terrifying truth of all, we may never fully understand it. Now let's zoom in, shrink the lens of the universe back down to one insignificant dot in an endless sea of stars, Earth. This planet, this fragile blue sphere, is the only home we have ever known. But from the right perspective, it's almost invisible. In 1990, NASA's Voyager 1 spacecraft was about to leave our solar system when, at the request of Carl Sagan, it turned around to take one last photo. The result was the pale blue dot, an image of Earth from nearly 4 billion miles away. And Earth? It appeared as nothing more than a tiny, faint speck suspended in a sunbeam. In that single pixel existed everything, every war, every civilization, every love story, every triumph, tragedy, discovery and failure, every person that has ever lived, every king, every slave, every scientist, every artist, everything humanity has ever known or done, contained within a single point of light, drifting in a vast and endless night. But what does that mean for us? If the universe stretches infinitely in all directions and we are nothing more than a temporary flicker, does that make us meaningless? We act as if the universe revolves around us. But in reality, humanity has been here for only a cosmic fraction of a second. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, our species, Homo sapiens. We've existed for only 300,000 years, and in that time, we have ruled, conquered, built monuments, formed religions, invented technology, sent machines beyond our atmosphere, and yet, in the scale of the cosmos, we are barely significant enough to be noticed. Our own sun has been shining for 4.6 billion years. One day, it too will die, expanding into a red giant before collapsing into a husk of what it once was. By that time, Earth will be long gone, vaporized, obliterated by the dying breath of the very star that gave us life. And even that, the death of our entire solar system, is only a small event in the life cycle of the universe. Stars collapse. Galaxies collide, whole worlds disappear. The universe does not grieve them, it simply moves forward, which leads us to a question we may never want to answer. If the universe does not acknowledge us, do we even matter? Some find comfort in the idea that we are not alone, that somewhere beyond the limits of our sight, other civilizations have risen and fallen, thriving in distant star systems. Maybe they exist right now. Maybe they once existed, but have already been swept away by time. Maybe they are looking for us, just as we are looking for them. But the silence is deafening. Despite years of searching, we have not found a single confirmed signal of intelligent life. No voices calling back through the void, no messages reaching us across the stars. And that silence raises a terrifying possibility. What if we really are alone? What if we are the only intelligent life? Out of trillions of planets, billions of star systems, endless galaxies. What if this small blue dot hosts the only voices in an otherwise empty, silent void? Or perhaps the opposite is true. Perhaps the universe is teeming with civilizations, but they are far beyond us, either in technology or in history. Perhaps we are new, insignificant creatures still learning to walk in a cosmos ruled by those infinitely older than us. And maybe, just maybe, that should be even more terrifying, because if life exists beyond Earth, then sooner or later, one thing becomes inevitable: contact. And when that moment arrives, the question will no longer be whether we matter, it will be whether we survive. For all of humanity's greatness, for all our advancements, achievements and empires are fragile. Life on Earth is a delicate accident, an impossibly rare phenomenon born under the precise conditions that allowed it to persist. Everything, from the air we breathe to the oceans that cradle us, exists in a carefully maintained balance. But that balance is not permanent. Earth has undergone 5 mass extinctions in the past. 5 times life flourished, only to be nearly wiped out by catastrophes beyond its control. Ice ages, collapsing atmospheres, asteroid impacts, planet-wide volcanic eruptions. Each time, existence was redefined, species were erased. Entire ecosystems vanished from history. Survival was never guaranteed, and once again, our planet is changing. But this time, the threat is us. We tear down forests that took millennia to form. We poison our waters. We fill the sky with toxins. We carve apart the natural world, pushing ecosystems into collapse, all in pursuit of temporary expansion. Species that have evolved over millions of years are disappearing forever, simply because of what we do. But do we notice? More importantly, do we care? Right now, at this very moment, every person alive is part of a gigantic machine, an interconnected system that consumes resources, produces waste, expands without limit. And yet, our perspective is terrifyingly small. We are so obsessed with our daily lives, our routines, our ambitions, our personal struggles, that we forget how little time we actually have here. We act as if Earth is infinite, but everything in the universe has limits. We used to look up at the sky in fear of forces we could not understand. We feared the chaos of nature, the unpredictability of the stars. We gave them names, stories, gods. But today, the greatest forces shaping the planet are no longer natural. They are human. We have mastered fire, but burned forests. We have harnessed the atom, but created weapons that could erase ourselves in an instant. We have reached for the stars, but forgotten the world beneath our feet. The truth is simple. The Earth does not belong to us. We were never meant to rule it. Life is an intricate web. Every species, every ecosystem, every cycle of water, carbon, and energy connected in a way we barely comprehend. And yet, we pull at its threads recklessly, thinking we can control something that has existed long before us. We are not masters of this planet. We never were. The universe does not care if we survive. It does not care if nations rise or fall, if species flourish or go extinct, if history is remembered or erased completely. For billions of years, Earth has endured. It has witnessed the birth and death of worlds. It has weathered cosmic impacts, frozen over in planetary winters, and burned under ancient suns. Civilizations have no claim to permanence. We are not exempt from the fate of the worlds that came before us. But unlike everything else in the universe, unlike the stars, the galaxies, the drifting dust of collapsed planets, we are aware of our own fragility. And that knowledge is both a blessing and a curse. Because now we have a choice. We can continue as we are, ignoring the damage we cause, depleting the Earth's resources, consuming without thought, dividing ourselves with meaningless conflicts and short-sighted greed. We can pretend the universe owes us something, that our intelligence makes us invincible, that our empires will last forever, but that would be a mistake. Because one day Earth will move on from us. If we vanish, the forests will reclaim the cities, the oceans will swallow the roads, the air will clear of pollution, and in the grand, indifferent scale of time, we will be forgotten unless we make a different choice. The universe has given us something rare, an opportunity unlike any before, to be the first species, not just to exist, but to preserve itself through understanding. To use science, technology, and wisdom not as weapons of destruction, but as tools of survival. We are not masters of this planet, but we are its caretakers. We alone hold the responsibility of guarding its beauty, or ensuring its downfall. Every individual action matters. Every small decision radiates into the future. Every moment is another chance to change what comes next. Because if space has taught us anything, it is this: nothing lasts forever. Everything, every star, every civilization, every world will one day fade into silence. But perhaps in these fleeting moments that we have, in this brief spark of time where we are alive, breathing, thinking, we can create something that does matter, a legacy of preservation, not destruction, an existence defined by wisdom, not recklessness. A future where we are not only witnesses to the universe, but participants in its survival. Maybe that is the meaning we've been searching for. Maybe that's what makes us different. Because if the universe truly is silent, if we truly are alone in this infinite expanse, then it means we are the only voices that will ever have the chance to be heard. And if that is not a reason to fight for something greater, then what is?